Well, I didn't do a ARB install video. There's a million of them on the internet. But what I am going to show you, I got a VOSWITCH switch coming that'll mount right here. That'll go in the dash, eliminate a lot of wiring. But I'll show you this. I made these plates out of diamond plate. They're gonna bolt in there. There'll be a gauge here, an air chuck here, and then on the passenger side there'll be another air chuck. Here's the chuck and a pressure switch. That's gonna be to a air gauge. Do I need it? No, but cool factor is there. You just look and see what kind of pressure your compressors got in the lines as you're pumping up your tires. But I'm not going to video the whole thing, but I'll do it in steps and y'all can see what I'm doing. One bolt, that's the third bolt. The third bolt right there. Okay, got the hole drilled out. Used a 2-inch or 51 millimeter hole saw because it's going to wallow out and it will cut it way too big. This seems to be a real close fitting gauge. Perfect. Now the bulkhead's in. Okay, here you go. We're going to use 1/4 inch air fittings here. That is a ABR T-fitting. There's the bottom of your bulkhead. There's your pressure sensor. That's your gauge. The blue wire goes to the that's your signal wire from your gauge. The black wire is a ground. Just ground it to the seat. That might not work. It might have to go to a frame ground. I don't know if the bolts in the seat will apply enough ground through the seat or not, but there's a lot of electronics on here, so it may be grounded through the frame from this. So we'll see what happens. We'll get back in a minute. Now, next time you see it, it'll be in the Jeep. I got to make up them wires. One of them goes to the ignition fuse block, and the black one is a frame ground. I've got the switch grounded here, but we'll see in a minute. I'm pleased with it. Driver side's all done, so we got the wire plumbed, or the hose plumbed to that side. We got to fix the bracket like that diamond plate on the passenger side. Put the bulkhead in, the ARB fitting, and then we'll show you when it's done. It is done. This is the driver's side. We got 91. It's dropping down. We got a small leak. We'll find it tomorrow, the next day when the VOSWITCH switch gets here, but it is all working. Compressor should come on. I'll show you the other side. This is passenger side. It's all done. Flip the little dust cover on. Here the compressor come on to charge that line. And take it off. Alright, next part of this video is going to be the VOSWITCH install. I purchased a different pressure cutoff valve. The aux lockers are recommended 85 to 105 is a sweet spot without having any damage to your seals. So I ordered their pressure switch, which is 85 to 110, I believe, or maybe it's 105. It's 85 to 105. I took this one out, put it in its place, and it works flawlessly. So now I'm regulating this instead of 150 to 105. I've double checked it on my pressure gauge under the seat and this pressure gauge here that I installed separate. It cuts the compressor off at 105. Alright, now get back to the wiring. Well, one more thing. It comes with a 150 pressure pop-off valve, so he doesn't blow this thing up, this whole little manifold. So I bought a 120, if you can see that. A 120 pop-off valve. I don't need a 150. Alright, now let's get to the wiring. On this plug, I've looked at the schematic, traced the wiring in here against the schematic, and the purple wire is the only one you need to activate the relay in the box. Since I have this, I don't need all this. The only thing I need off of here is this diode wire. Now they're directional. It only allows current to flow one way. When this thing is off, you don't want anything, if anything shorts in there, you don't get any back feed through this diode into the electrical system of the Jeep. So this thing is directional. You'll want to cut it off here and put it on, where's my plug? Here. This plug that came with ARB, you see the purple wire there. You'll want to cut this wherever you need, wire this in, put this into your VOS or your VOSWITCH bank. Well, this is a one wire system. It only uses the hot wire, 8 places. You have a community ground somewhere on the Jeep you want to run all your negatives to, or wherever you can run them to. I'm just going to mount mine to right there. I've done checked it. That's a good ground. So I hope this helps you, and I'll show you some steps as I'm going along, but I'm not going to film the whole thing. Now I'll try to show you guys something here, be an easy fix. You see how big them holes are in this seal, this PG7 seal, I think it's the number. It's a watertight seal. This whole box is watertight. O-ring in the lid. Put you a couple rounds of heat shrink on here. I put one, and it slips in pretty easy. I'm gonna do one more, and it'll be snug. That way when it tightens up, I know there won't be a leak. But that's just a tip, little trick I'm gonna do. I'll show you in a second. And this is a pretty simple wire up. I'm coming from the front solenoid on the manifold. It's already plumbed to the front locker, so I'm gonna call this switch 3. On here, from the top left, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and drops down 5, 6, 7, 8. And you have numbers in here 1 through 8. And you just use one wire. So the first one I'm gonna set is my compressor. This is gonna be the rear locker. Number 3 is gonna be the front locker. So all I gotta do is find the number 3, 1, 2, 3, right there, and put my fitting on. I got another round of heat shrink on. It's gonna fit in there just perfect. Be a good seal, and I'll show you the next thing. Okay, I got the front locker, rear locker wired. This first switch will be compressor, rear, front, and that's an extra wire for lights that goes on the hood. I just run a dummy wire under here and doubled it back on itself and put heat shrink. Now, this is double wall heat shrink I use. It has adhesive in it, as you can see it right there. It's really good stuff and it's tough, but this is just going to be zip tied here until the hood's painted and a new windshield frame is put in, and then I put the lights back on and clip into here and wire them, and they'll be into switch 4. All right, now we're going to run all these wires. The ground wire coming out of the VOSWITCH, they want you to hook it directly to the negative on the battery. My wire was not long enough, so what I done, I had some 14 gauge marine wire, just did a butt connector, double wall heat shrink, added extra length so I can tie it into the battery. If you want to do a somewhat neater job, you can spool this. It's wire loom, 1/4 inch. These 2 wires are spliced in the trigger wire for the light for the gauge under the seat. Ran it in here. Ran the power wire in the loom. These 2, well, 3 wires now in a loom. Use a little bit of heat shrink at the end and the beginning. Make it a little more neater, so you don't have all that frayedness going on. And zip tie it under the main harness all the way over to the battery and to the fuse box. Just an idea. All right, everything's done. Had a small leak. That pressure switch right here, the one I told you I changed, the ARB came with a 150 and I put a 105 in it. I never tightened it up, so had to take the top back off the compressor. I'm gonna put it back on, put it together. But I hope this helps somebody that's doing this. This ain't real involved, but it's involved enough. If you know anything about this stuff, you'll understand it. But this is an awesome box. I like that control box. Don't forget, hit the like, subscribe, and hit your notifications so you don't miss one of these important videos. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Check the front locker.
Roll it.
Yep, both wheels rotate the same direction. Locker does work. Yep, 1 tire fire. Okay, we're good.